Uh, Good evening, friends. So we are back again with our fourth session of Insider Series. Uh, First of all, thank you all for joining us today evening, taking out your time. We really appreciate that. And it's for those of you who are joining for the first time. This whole initiative of Insider Series is the idea is to try to give something back to the society in these challenging times. And we are already halfway through the whole series. We are doing 6 sessions, and today is our fourth session. And we have received really good feedback from the seniors, from the industry, from our friends, and it's really motivating to us. It kind of validates our whole effort that we are trying to do here. And again, thank you very much for doing that. Quickly, a quick intro. My name is Sandeep. I'll be the co-host for today. I'm the founder of Craftja. It's a creative experiential marketing company. We specialize in intellectual properties, and though now the universe has kind of pushed us to create digital properties, so that is the focus currently. And we are into content creation for brands. And with me is my dear friend Bhargavi. She's a uh, CEO of Excel Corporation, which is a HR firm, consulting firm, and content consulting firm. She's also a podcaster. Her podcast, People Who Matter, is done very well. It's been live for a couple of years now and available on all the podcast platforms that are there. And so she kind of will be joining me, and we are the host for today evening for you. So over to you, Bhargavi.
Thank you, Sandeep. Thank you so much. With you talking so highly about me and the podcast, I don't think I need to brand or market this any further. But moving forward with a couple of house rules, welcome once again to everybody who's joined us this evening. And we are hoping that we're going to have a very exciting and very scintillating session ahead with our very honored guest. Before I take you and introduce you to the guest, let me tell you some house rules. Basically, we want all of you to drop in a line. I'm already seeing a lot of you drop in your name, your cities. I will also request you to drop a question in the Ask a Question box, which is like right below. If you could see on your screens, there's a box called Ask a Question. These questions will be directly chosen and answered by our guests for this evening. So do drop in your question. We've also got a special section called the polls, if you can see that right there. So in the polls section, we've put a question out for you today. So go ahead and cast your vote for whichever answer you think works best. So with that, I think our basic house rules are done. Now, please feel free to keep commenting on probably the answers or things that are going on in the show. And we can also try to incorporate those points while we interact with our guests. So with that, I will take it forward for the introduction of a very, very special guest. Gives me great pleasure to introduce to you a serial entrepreneur. He is definitely somebody who's been working with the businesses of internet, e-commerce, social media, and the like. The internet itself came to India in 1996, and this particular guest has been in the internet space as an entrepreneur since 1997. So it won't be wrong to say that he's pretty much got the hands-on experience in the internet business since the time it boomed in India. Presently, he is the joint CEO of Mirum India, one of the largest digital and social media agencies in India. He also co-founded the original company, which is known as Social Wavelength, which was then acquired by the WPP Group in 2014. He's had his fair share of experiences of being an entrepreneur, of scaling teams. He's seen growth. He's worked with the leading brands across the country. And Mirum, which is a wholesome digital agency itself, is a brand of J. Walter Thompson. He's also the co-author of the book, If I Had to Do It Again. With no further introduction needed, I introduce you to Sanjay Mehta. When you talk about the book, Sanjay, welcome to the show. Welcome aboard. And thank you so much for giving us your time.
Most welcome. My pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting me. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, Sanjay, when I read the title of your book, and I know that this probably is the best time to discuss this kind of a title when somebody thinks of If I Had to Do It Again. I think all of us who've been under lockdown have been forced to really rethink about things that are happening in our lives. If we had a chance to redo things, and if we probably had a chance to take things with a different perspective, different initiative, how we would do that. I think the same story applies to brands, and the same story applies to so many other companies which are in crossroads today, whether they should go ahead with plans that they already had in mind for 2020, or whether they should stop, take a deep breath, and reassess, and then start out. So with that, I open the floor to you, Sanjay.
Okay, thanks so much. Yes, absolutely. We are in extremely special times, extraordinary times, where I'm sure there is so much to really talk about, from COVID to a whole bunch of other things, but very clearly the topic for the evening has been set out, and so my talk will largely focus on brands, and let's see. I'll try to cover what I think brands need to do, what brands can do,
Yes.
and also why brands must continue to act and not sort of stay quiet and do nothing. So
Sure.
that the larger perspective that I would like to cover. So going back to the fact that we are in an extraordinary time, but if we look at it from the point of view of the journey of brands, right? It is but a part of the journey. I mean, brands take nothing less than decades to be built. If
Correct.
anybody thinks that years, I'm a startup and I put in this huge amount of money, which I raised from venture capital and I pumped it and I've become a brand. That's not quite it. I mean, really, for a brand to register for consumers, for it to have a sustainable value, it takes a long time. So if you consider a journey of like decades, and then this is a kind of a blip, if we may call it, in that space. So we have to weather the storm. Essentially, if you're a brand, it's not like, oh, it's an end game or something like that. So you could be as a brand, you could be at any point. So you could be a brand which is already at a pinnacle. You've spent all your several years and you reach a certain point. Then the opportunity today is to continue to maintain that resonance and saliency around your brand and the brand, the way it's positioned. You could have been in a journey where you're in the process of building it, in which case think of it as a bit of a obstacle which has come in. You find a way to sort of go over it or under it or whatever, and then the journey continues. And in case you're a company which is just set out and wasn't about to launch or about to build a brand, in fact you might have one of the best opportunities to really sort of launch out in a difficult time, and I'll tell you how that works just
Sure.
in just a bit. So in whichever case, I mean, from a brand perspective, this is not the time to sit and do nothing. And again, like I said, we'll come to a little more information just as points which I'm going to share. I'm fortunate, like you mentioned in my introduction, being part of a WPP group. I have access to some amazing amount of research and insights from across the world, which comes from different agencies of WPP. Our own agency contributes to that. So what I'm sharing is my own views, but also very well supplemented by information that I have good access to from the agency. And so you'll find, hopefully you'll find some of this interesting.
Sure.
So heading out straight into the specific thoughts. Um, you see, when we are in a difficult time like this, if you think of yourself as a leader, or even if you as a leader, as an individual or as a brand, this is the time where you need to be in particularly more alert, in particularly be decisive, because there's decisions being made every minute or every day if required, because it's such a changing field. I mean, every day you're wondering what is happening, when are we going to go back, is the logistics resuming, will my product move, will it hit the store, will the stores open, all kinds of changes happening on a constant basis. Some states may open, some others may not open.
Yes.
Some will be red zone. So as a leader, you're in a position where you are forced to take decisions based on the limited amount of evolving facts that come up in front of you. So you respond to change while keeping a certain eye on the future as well, because what you do today, it might be a short-term thing, but you can't do something at the cost of hurting your brand big time, because there is
Right.
going to be a future, and you need to sort of come back from all this and continue your journey. So that's the onus on the brand, like the marketer or whoever is taking the ownership of the brand in any organization. So
Absolutely.
it is said that I mean, it's like a interesting line that I read, that crisis punishes the dithering, the people who hesitate. You could actually find yourself getting punished because you weren't sure what to do. But on the other hand, it it rewards the committed. So if you're committed to your marketing journey, there's a fair chance that if you get it right in the post crisis scenario, you could be rewarded up to three times more in terms of your market share which you capture. And
Right.
again, some more details I will share as we go along. So there is this interesting kind of a concept which again one of our sister agencies brought out, is that while we are in a crisis today, there is going to be an end, and then there's going to be a bounce back, right? So at the end of the crisis, when business resumes to a new normal, okay, the normal will not be the normal that we knew
Yes.
in December or January. It's a new normal, but in that new normal, there will be the competition all over again for the market which opens up. Maybe it's a smaller market than we were used to, but that market will see a few winners. Some will take a larger market share, and others will be the laggards who will lose out. So, would you want your brand to be one of those which actually acquires a larger market share? And that depends on a concept which is referred to as the bounce back velocity. Like
Mm.
when the business bounces back, and maybe your client or you are the brand. I mean, in your category, would you be bouncing back with a higher velocity, or you were caught unprepared, and that's why by the time things opened up, you are still scampering, and by the time you figure the new normal, somebody else has taken huge steps and acquired your market share. So that is the risk that one carries in scenarios like this. So
Really.
overall, this is clearly what one would call a black swan event, right? And
Right.
historically black swan events, whether it was SARS or any other previous one events, have shown from a brand point of view, first of all, that a black swan event can potentially break a brand. It can, all the hard
Right.
work that you've done, this could be a potential disaster, or it can make a brand. So it's a both possibilities exist. So you need to figure, which path, which where do you want to take your brand, break or make, right? The second part to appreciate is that there will be an after. Okay, so all this at some point, I mean, none of us today know when that will be, because
Mm.
that's really the challenge of this particular crisis, that we don't know when and how the end will happen. But like everything, there will be a way found, whether it's a vaccine, whether it's herd immunity or whatever it may be. There will be a so-called after, and the before, but there will be an after. Now the point is that in the key is to manage all the three phases. The three phases are the short term, which is right now, which is where we are in the middle of the crisis. We're right in the crisis. Then there will be
Right.
a certain recovery phase, which will not be normal. You're just coming out. Maybe when lockdown opened, the first set of stores start opening up. People somehow figure how to get back to work. This, that. It's still a recovery path. It's not the new normal. And then when that settles down, will be the so-called new normal. So the short, medium, and long term, you
Yes.
need to traverse that entire journey as a brand and come out strong enough. And what you need to do is to not only prepare for the present, you need to prepare in the sense you have to figure what's your current state, but also be ready for what will be the rebound. Like at that point,
Right.
and it means that through this short and medium term phases, to keep figuring that what will that new normal look like when it emerges, by constantly understanding the development overall, the consumer behavior change, your category changes, maybe, and a lot of things will need to adapt from the business perspective, but to constantly continuously analyze that and start working on being ready for the rebound. And final shape of that rebound will only emerge as we go closer to that point when things resume normalcy. But at least you've not waited, like, okay, let's wait till the normal and then figure. It's not that. You got to analyze the data available right through that journey, right?
Correct. Correct. Absolutely.
Yeah. And at this point, like, what are some of the immediate changes that we are seeing, right? So let's say from a consumer perspective, first of all, you're seeing a change in consumption, right? All of us are making do with what we can get here. We're not consuming our favorite foods or favorite brands. We're not going to our restaurants. We're not buying the things which we were used to buying. So a consumption, and we are, in some sense, we are maybe getting used to the consumptions that we are getting. I mean, it's not like we are freaking out because that we can't get our favorite particular meal or brand or something. So
Right.
maybe the mind and people consumer behavior, in some sense, at some point will settle down into some new consumption modes and forms. Maybe you will not go to restaurants which are like, which are people close by, or may
Yes.
not go to a bar. You figure that, okay, you'll manage it differently. Second is, there's a human need, the changes happening in the way we get entertained, right? Again, I don't see very easily the next big music concert happening with people,
Right.
say, standing next to each other, or perhaps a big sports event, or or even a theater, for example, a movie theater. I mean, I don't know when next those things will resume. And on the other hand, we've got used to our Netflix and Amazon Primes, and maybe multiplayer games on your phone and your devices, and so that's your new entertainment comfort zone that we are finding ourselves. Think about relationships. Right now, you're all into in your own homes with your immediate families, and earlier, the life was meeting so many different people and getting,
Right.
so the relationships are changing. Think about work and education, right? So from, obviously, all of us, whoever can manage, are working from home. Education has become online, and the whole so the consumption, the way in which education is being delivered, is changing. Health and fitness, I mean, our gyms and our
Yes.
pools and our spas, everything is closed. I mean, and you and I know we can't even go down in our community
Correct.
down. So
Yes.
we manage with whatever, like a YouTube video or something, and maybe
Yes.
figure our workouts and not. The way we consume news and information, I mean, we're not getting our physical newspapers. We're finding new favorites in terms of some apps, and
Correct.
maybe other forms of content. So all of these are just very functional changes in the human being. Correspondingly, there are changes which are happening in the head. I mean, based on that, your character, people are getting, some of them are getting paranoid, some are getting very, going back to a traditional culture. I mean, everybody wants to go back to your Ayurveda, and and whatever. I mean, whatever appeals to you. So there's so much change happening in the consumer, and a lot of it will be change for good. It won't be change which is like a short-term change. And when it's a short interruption in life, you swing back. But here, because of the scars that this event is definitely going to leave for everybody, it's going to be a good amount of consumer behavior will change for the long term, and not just for the short term. So at this point, from an opportunity for brands in like very, very, very high level, top level opportunities at this point, is one is to really help your consumers in whichever way. So depending on the category, or depending on what you can do, or even beyond the category, maybe you have a distribution network through which you can maybe deliver food grain to the needy, or
Right.
or find a way to deliver product even though your stores are not working, or enable some services on an online system, so that people still manage to get work done and whatever. So there is a way in which you can actually help. Second, of course, is there's a huge opportunity to continue to build goodwill, because
Right.
at this point, a brand that does good is
Yes.
definitely acknowledged, recognized, because we are all sitting, and we are kind of hurting in a way. And so all the good things which we see, whether it's people doing something nice, somebody going and NGO doing some good work, or
Right.
anything, is well noticed, well acknowledged, because especially because of the, in some sense, the pain that people are in. You're
Right.
hungry for good news. You're hungry to absorb and acknowledge that somebody is doing well, and brands have an excellent opportunity to do something which can help build goodwill. And it could be not necessarily being caregiver, it could be just in terms of the way they deliver their own service. I mean, the first
Correct.
time when I saw that Domino's ad of contactless delivery, I mean,
Yeah.
I was impressed that, whatever changes they needed to do on their app, in their packaging, in the way the logistics work, and considering an all India network and everything, and when they
Correct.
were that fact that they were able to put it together rapidly, recognizing the times that we were in,
Right.
I mean, I was impressed. I mean, whether I am a big fan of Domino's or not, but I mean, somewhere the brand, registered in my head as somebody who thinks and responds fast in the need of the hour for the consumer. So those, that's an opportunity like to build goodwill, and then
Talking about goodwill, Sanjay, sorry, I couldn't resist but add another brand which I've recently seen, the Surf Excel ad with Ramadan, which has been going on the Neki Kar. I think
yeah,
that ad has been fantastic, and the kind of goodwill they bring building just with that one Neki Kar ad corresponding to the pandemic that everybody's going through.
no, absolutely. They managed to do a great job every time. I mean, whatever, especially, and I think in particular, I have seen them do amazing work on Eid,
Yes.
and in the past also, and again they rocked it this time as well. And
Right.
the fact that it's a pandemic oriented ad with
Yes.
social distancing. So I'm like, from being from the industry, one wonders that how did they actually create this ad? It would have
Absolutely.
happened when people were locked down. So that also calls for that extra effort in somehow
Correct.
putting this together. And still, as a production value, as a final product looks as good as having been made in normal times with the studio and all sorts of things.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
it's a real good work in all respects. Yes, absolutely, you're right.
So,
So I was saying, sure. Tell me.
Sanjay, just sorry to interrupt you, but one question that comes to mind here is you spoke a lot on the typical brands who are already there, who have made a mark in the market, and we remember those names and they are there. Coming from an entrepreneur space, and I mean, you started when we were just thinking of kind of going to school, college, and trying to do our education piece.
Yeah.
That's when you started. So specifically for an entrepreneur, is this the good time to start something, or should he or she wait? Okay, this time kind of settles down, and then they kind of take the step of starting of something or starting a new idea or concept.
Right. So, historically, let's say the last big economic downturn, which one recognizes, was 2008.
Correct.
And actually, in 2008, there were several amazing brands which got created. I mean, today you recognize them as big brands. And so normally, I've seen that a downturn is actually a good time to start a new business for various reasons, because my business, Social Relevance, started in that year. And what I could do at that time, I was able to get talent, because
Yes.
if it's booming time, for a startup, you want to get good talent. They're not available. They're getting
Exactly.
jobs
Yes.
everywhere.
Yes.
And I could get a software developer to get some work done for me in almost for free, because
Right.
he said, like, and bunch of other things. So and then also, because it's downturn, you can make mistakes and learn, because you're not
Correct.
losing a huge opportunity. So you learn, you do your beta testing and all in that in a small market space, and you learn. And then when the market picks up, you're ready to, like, you've done all your hard work, and then you're ready to go to the next orbit, in a sense. However, I don't know if this particular downturn of sorts is comparable. A lot of things are changing, so it really depends on what kind of field one is in. So
Okay.
one needs to really take a good hard look at your own venture and see that in what you can already see the new normal, first of all, will there be relevance to whatever business or service you're offering? Will there be same relevance? Will there be more relevance? Maybe if you're in a certain field that will be more attractive, then it makes sense. Would
Right.
you be needing funding? Okay, I somewhere feel that it's not going to be easy for startups to raise money. So if you're
Right.
self-dependent, then it's fine, because I mean, the investing community is hurt across the board.
Yes.
Right from the listed equity down, and they're also going to be questioning. For example, there are huge investments in Oyo. Yeah.
Yes.
Now whether travel is going to pick up in any serious level, going, with all the restrictions and everything. And that massive, investment which has gone by, big investors' money is stuck. They're not going to be able to seriously revive if fundamentally it can't happen. So, I mean, and there are a lot of sectors where such investments have happened, whether it's travel, whether it's hospitality, etc. So if there is a larger hurt top down from the listed company investors to the Ps to the venture capitalists, it all flows down. And so if your venture is going to depend, not today, but let's say in a few months, it's dependent on that. This time around, I don't know when the environment will be right for startup investment to resume with that same flow. So, and of course, basically, I somewhere feel that at a large, the consumption levels will scale down.
Right.
Okay, so if we were used to having so many meals outside, we were used to having so many travel programs in a year, we were used to having, buying so many new pairs of clothes or, whatever. I think even as we resume at a larger level, somewhere the consumption size is going to scale down. And unfortunately, it's going to be a global factor, right? I mean, otherwise, if it was isolated, you say, okay, I'll go to another market, which is still booming. Yeah, for the first time, it is right across the globe. So in that reduced consumption space and challenge of raising money, if you have a venture which still can be interesting, and in fact can has a particular focus which makes it interesting for the new normal, then absolutely sure. Otherwise, my feeling is that it's going to be challenging. I mean, that's perspective that I have. Okay. I mean, it's not about a specific business, in general I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
Okay. So going back to unless you have a question, you were saying something, Bhargavi?
Yeah, so I actually had another interesting question, because we're all locked down, we're sitting at home, and like you rightly said, we're trying to manage with what we have right now. We're not getting our favorite brands. We're not getting all the things that we used to in life in general, even on spending. Even an Amazon is not open right now for us to binge shop. When I'm having a low day, I can't go out there and do retail therapy. So when all these things are happening, I as a consumer started realizing that I actually don't need that much. Or the things that I felt were necessity might actually turn out to be luxury. So this debate of a luxury versus necessity, especially, which is now becoming more and more clear in this particular pandemic situation, do you think this perspective will again change once the lockdown eases out, when life goes back to a new normal? Or do you think this is something brands should start rethinking and probably reposition the way they are communicating a particular product?
So, I mean, I think that's part of some of the points I was making later on. But I think the point is that, I think if you're a company and if you have multiple brands, and some of them are like focused in the luxury sector, and some are in the the upper, like in the comfort, or like not below the luxury levels, I would believe that the focus and the priority for you from a positioning point of view would be to highlight the non-luxury side of brand, because of various reasons. I think we're not going to find a sort of a proper solution. We all know the vaccine is a way to a couple of years down the line, and so social distancing, less travel, less going out, all that will continue to be there. I mean, if you're not going out that much, for whom you're going to get that next big diamond necklace, or that fancy watch, because usually you wear it for an event. I can't even visualize the next big Indian wedding, the big Indian wedding. I don't know when it'll be like Zoom oriented weddings, and all will people do their norm. So a lot of consumption of luxuries around those kinds of events. So I think I would feel that luxury will take a hit as a category. And so if as a company you have multiple brands, you're better off focusing on the non-luxury sectors. I mean, SKUs in your kitty. And that's what I would feel. So
okay. Yes, Sanjay, please go ahead.
So I was talking about the opportunity for brands. I said first is to really help. Second is to build goodwill. Third is to leverage new consumer behavior. So there is a new consumer behavior. If you can fit your products somewhere in that, to leverage that so positively. So figure out where, and maybe there will be a couple of examples as we go along. But for simple, like a quick example is that, okay, people are working from home. and doing a lot of Zoom calls and Teams calls and all that. Now, let's say you're a cosmetics brand, and can you kind of somehow sell the solution that look good on a Zoom call? You know,
Right.
there's a quick, maybe so you're repositioning. You're not like, I was talking about, you're not going to go out as much, but
Correct.
the new normal is that your appearance is what shows up on a call like this, and you need to sort of look good on that as well. For example, so you're leveraging a kind of new behavior where everybody's on screen. So what looks good on screen for my appearance or something like that, as an
Right.
example. And there will be many others of that kind. And fourth opportunity, of course, is to drive business, because finally there will be, like I said, opportunities for certain kinds of categories and certain products and all that. So you could, depending on like what stage you're in, one of those or more than one of those is what you kind of embrace. Then to understand, like I already mentioned, that like as a brand, you need to be having a strategy across the so-called time horizons, and there are three clear time horizons. Like I said, there's the one which is right now,
Mm.
which when there is an acute outbreak happening. So at this point, what is it that you are, sort of, how are you reading and responding to an constantly unfolding situation?
Hmm.
It's unfolding on a day-to-day basis. So how are you ready and responding? Medium term is the recovery phase, where like just out of this lockdown. In that case, that's a time when you might think about, how do I make up for lost ground? Because you would have lost ground 3 months. Maybe
Correct.
your businesses were closed, your factories were closed, your stores were closed, whatever. How do you find a way to make up for that lost ground? And
Correct.
then long term, which is the so-called new normal. So in that time, you say, how do I get ahead in the change landscape? What is it that will help me win a higher market share in those days, right?
Understood.
uh, Let me know how you're doing on time, if you want. I mean, that, so let me kind of rush through a couple of concepts, and then maybe we
Oh,
can take for the Q&A. So during this time, when it's a, let's say, the short-term crisis mode, the broad thoughts are, what you as a brand can do. You need to be relevant,
yes.
uh, and you activate purpose in the sense, what you say is that you need to not just say, or not sell or say, but actually do.
Correct.
Find out that you participate in actually doing something, right?
Correct.
Second part, what you need to do today is you have to sustain your short-term sales. So your sales would be down, but
Yes.
whatever is the small window that you still have, continue to sustain it and not lose ground. Don't give up on that. At least continue to engage in to that extent.
Correct.
Engage all audiences. So there are a lot of stakeholders at this time. Not just your customers. It could be the community. It could be your employees. It could be your partners, agencies, because you as a brand need to have an image on across all stakeholders, that you, let's say, supposing you're working with vendors, the vendors should think that you're a good client to continue to work with. It's not like you give up on them. So across all stakeholders, how do you engage, how do you communicate across to them? And whatever spends that you're doing, if you're doing marketing spends, spend it smarter. So you make sure that if you're doing digital marketing, you drive them to your e-commerce platform from where transaction can happen.
Right.
You're not spending just on general brand building stuff. Spend on platforms where your consumers are still spending time. So those kind of things. So these are all some top level thoughts for the short term. When
Sure.
it is medium term, which is the just post outbreak recovery, like I said, make up for lost grounds, basically by leveraging the shift in consumer behavior and driving your competitive advantage. Now, what are the things relevant in that? One is to continue to fuel brand saliency. So
Hmm.
you need to continue to be visible so that you can be ready for the rebound.
Right.
So that little top of mind recall needs to continue to happen. So
Correct.
sustain some spends and make sure that you're able to rebound faster. Then prime yourself for a momentum upon when the rebound happens. So what that means is, first of all, like we're talking about, identify the priority parts of your offering. So
Right.
like we talked about luxury knowledge. So you say, okay, supposing you have a whole range of products. Now, do I need to push all of them, or I can focus on these in the rebound? These three will be the top, like will have priority. So make sure that you're ready to push them out, because those are
Correct.
the high opportunity areas. Identify the consumer segments that will be the first to release pent-up demand. So there is pent-up demand. Now, not everybody is going to go out like, I mean, in China, we saw, I mean, and I don't know if it was a sustained thing, but I saw one report about one store racking up some, record sales as soon as they
Yes.
resume. I mean,
Yes.
I have not followed up the story to see if they sustained that number or was it just that one
Initial frenzy. Yes.
initial frenzy. But, it's like some consumers would come back with a strong demand and identify which for your category or your range, which could be those segments, and be ready for delivering to them. Innovate, because you will need to adapt. There is now, it may be innovation in terms of product repackaging. It may be in terms of changing your distribution channels, because some channels are not going to be available or not that easy.
Right.
So there's going to be a lot of innovation required across the board. And I think the fourth and most, I think it's an obvious thing is shift towards digital. So if in case as a brand you're not very aggressive on digital, then whether it is e-commerce, whether it's marketing technology, whether it's marketing automation, all of these are things which you can do while you're in the recovery space, because you get it ready for when the rebound happens, that you're kind of set up those enablers to take advantage of the rebound. And finally, when it comes to the new normal, I mean, that's like whenever it happens, I think there'll be a lot of changes, which is essentially to recognize what has changed. That is something which you'll constantly keep learning over the short and medium space. What has changed, and then transform yourself to lead in the change landscape. Now, what are the kind of transformation? One is brand transformation itself. As a brand, you might want to reevaluate the positioning. Brands do a positioning, right? That
Yes.
like within the category, where is it that your brand is positioned? Now you might say that you might want to reposition. I mean, what happens to the luxury brand, right? I mean, if they continue to remain there, they may see a hit. Now, supposing a luxury brand can say, here's the new sub brand that they create, which is catering to a different audience. Maybe it's reevaluating the positioning and portfolio of products, or a first mover advantage in the rebound to grab new applications. I mean, new requirements. So that's one. That's brand transformation. So second is a sustainable transformation. Now, what is that? During the crisis time, a lot of brands have participated in CSR work.
Yes.
Right? Some or the other kind. Now, can you make it an ongoing purpose as a brand? So, you're then connected with that purpose. And as a brand, you find a connection. It's not felt that, okay, so you decided to, work with the senior citizens or something like that. Now, can it be, and you must have done that because somewhere your brand connected with that particular audience. Now, can you find a way to sort of maintain that in some or the other form, even after, when the new normal happens? So then it becomes the purpose which is associated with your brand. Third is a transformation around customer experience. Now, customer experience is a big thing anyway, okay, right now. But especially now, because of the changing scenario, more online, less offline, and various other things, can you look at your improving your customer experience and transform that? And the final one is the digital transformation. So basically revisit and prioritize digital goals, strategy, roadmaps, and address new needs and priorities to digital. So basically, at a very broad level, these are the three sort of time zones or time horizons that you need to be ready for and prepare for. And I think I have more, but I'll stop with just one last line, which is saying that while there is uncertainty today, there will be an after, and in that after, there will be winners and losers. So you got to decide, you first that that you're going to be there in that after. You're not you're not going out of the race, and then be ready to make yourself best suited to be a winner at that point.
Absolutely.
So I have more, but I'm happy to actually take questions from you or from anybody else.
Well structured, well-defined answer that you gave. So thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I felt like I was part of a masterclass, Sanjay. I don't even know if there are areas that we should ask, because you've covered everything so well in the entire session that you took just now. And I guess we do have a few questions. We'll take those first. So Sanjay, can you see a space called Ask a Question, which is right there in the bottom?
Yeah.
So you can click there, and there are a couple of audience questions that we've got.
Okay. So there's one which says, what are some great tools or strategies to build a company brand over social media and in general? I think from building a brand, social media is only a kind of a means. I think the larger part is to figure out, what is your positioning with regards to your product and consumer and everything, and consistently deliver that to your audience, your desired target audience. So as a business, first of all, what is it that you mean to the consumer? I
Right.
mean, like, are you the cheapest in a certain range, or are you
Right.
the highest quality, or are you the most service oriented, or what is it that is an association with regards to your brand, and can you live it on continuous basis, by actually showcasing that particular value or that particular differentiator in your category. And once you figure that, and once you're ready to live that, then of course talk about it through various means, and social media is one of the means that you need to show that that's your positioning in an
Right.
interesting way, in a creative way, that you keep showing. But when I see that on your, say, on your Facebook page or something, and if say, okay, you're this, you're like, you're the highest quality on so and so item, and I go back and buy the product, that should not be a disconnect. So
Right.
you first identify what is it that you stand for, be sure that you're delivering that, and then find interesting ways to talk about it. And social media is just one of the means, and sure, it is an interesting means because it can deliver you your targeted audience. So you say, I have a product which is for moms of small kids, kids between 1 and 4 years of age. Now
Right.
you don't want to put an ad in a newspaper, or put a
Right.
hoarding, or advertise on television mainline. So then that social media enables you to make sure that you reach your messaging to the absolute targeted audience. So that's great. But the creative part of it, the interesting messaging part of it, as well as the fundamental positioning, is something which has to still happen to begin with, and to live that through the long journey and be consistent about it. So that's the real important thing about building the brand out.
Absolutely. I think this is a great answer because a lot of people, when they think about branding, they don't realize the content and the value that the content should bring out while putting a messaging out. They just think that social media is dumping that money to a digital marketing agency without any thought or without any understanding of your own brand or product is
Right.
enough. For you to just take the messaging and the content forward. So I think what you said was absolutely right. You need to put some thought on where you want to fit in the category of things,
Yeah.
what kind of messaging
Exactly.
you want to give out there. So absolutely, I agree
And
100%.
and that messaging has to be about what you are.
Yes.
Like, it's not like about somebody coming up with a real great creative idea to do a messaging,
Yes.
but it's
Yes.
not really what you as a business are. So then the
Absolutely.
immediate disconnect, and the dissonance will happen, and
Yes.
the effort that you put will go to waste, because people will say, hey, you're not that, so I'm not coming back. You would
Yes.
have spent money, you would have got people to reach you, but then it won't work. So that was there is one more question.
Yes.
Will the current situation bring changes in audiences for the brands and their market reach? So they're actually two different questions. I mean, the one is
Yes.
about changes in the audience, and market reach is kind of different. So yeah, definitely, like I mentioned already in the what I mentioned earlier in terms of some of the starting thoughts, that the audiences, I believe there's going to be change. There is, I mean, to very simply, all of us as marketers have been used to certain insights about audiences, like, okay, millennials, they value this, they do this, that. I mean, very clearly, for example, we do a lot of work with the mutual fund industry, and some
Right.
felt, I mean, all our research so far would say that millennials are not so much focused about money and future and all. They
Investments.
live
Yes.
for the day, they want experiences, and they earn and they spend, and not necessarily splurge, but they want to take vacation, or they want to go on a backpacking trip, or they want to invest in music or whatever. They follow their desires, and they were not investing into it so much. Now you see that after this phase, that same person, can he suddenly feel himself that, hey, look, I don't have savings. Last 3 months I once, if they were, especially a lot of them are gig workers, right? So they are freelancers, they make
Yes.
money, they sing a song or they play some music. Now, supposing they've not earned, if they find a very strange first time in their life situation where they run out of money,
Yes.
something like that. Now, there is the new deeper realization that, heck, I should have invested, I should have saved some money, right? Maybe
Yes.
that's a specific shift that will happen in behavior, and it will happen across all demographics, not just millennials. I mean, a lot of us might have felt that, okay, we've reached a sense of security. What can go wrong? Maybe thoda sa market will come up and down a little bit here and there, but I mean, you tend to get yourself in a false sense of comfort because of life. Life is going on, momentum is there, and markets
Yes.
have been good, everything. And then you think like the unthinkable happens, right? This is something which we never envisaged.
Yes.
So you're re-looking, you're all introspecting that, what should I now, when things go back to normal? Do I go back to my eating out and my travel and my vacations and my
Right.
splurge, or do I take a step back and do I put a little more away for my emergency funds or this or that or whatever? So your obviously audience behavior is changing, audience means are going to change. A lot of people might
Right.
have a salary cut, or some of them may lose jobs. So will they be able to afford things? So in many different ways, audience behavior will change. And of course, brands will have to respond after understanding for their own categories and the audience what are the changes which have come about.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well said. There's a third question which has come now. It's actually something I wanted to ask myself, and I think somebody has asked that as
Okay.
well. It's about brand repositioning. Yes. Do you want to take that?
I'll just go through the post-COVID. Do you really see brands need new positioning altogether? There's an ad from Lifebuoy which clearly shows the new brand positioning where they ask for washing hands with whichever soap available, and not only Lifebuoy. As compared to earlier ads, this is new, which will create a huge impact on consumer minds. Your thoughts, please. So, as I was telling you, there is a certain brand behavior which is called for during this immediate stage. There's a short-term period of when the crisis is there.
Yes.
And when the crisis is there, one of the things that a brand needs to come out looking like is that they care.
Yes.
They care for the consumer.
Yes.
They need to prioritize that. I mean, at this point, if a brand comes out in a heavy duty sales mode,
Yes.
it actually be looked bad. That
Yes.
we are suffering here, and you want to push, you want to peddle your one more product, which is how advertising normally would be, like, sale, sale, sale. So now the current, at least at this current period when you're stuck home, you're locked down, you're seeing even worse outside when you look out on a, I
Yes.
mean, you see daily wage earners suffering, and this is absolutely no time to come hard selling. So at this time, in the mode of coming and looking caring, definitely there is, in fact, there is collaboration. I mean, we've seen others. This is just Lifebuoy saying that use any soap. I mean, we've
Yes.
seen competitors like GSK and Sanofi coming together to try to build a vaccine
Yes.
for
Exactly.
COVID. We've seen, Google and Apple, or I think, if I'm not mistaken, joining
Yes.
hands to
Yes.
try to figure the social distancing. I mean, some interesting software-based approach for COVID. So-called competitors are joining hands, collaborating. The world is collaborating, right? Suddenly there is I mean, even in India, you see, I mean, there will be a little bit of noise in the 9 o'clock debate, but otherwise, political parties have also kind of aligned that there is one
Yes.
thing. So if when everybody is aligning to single goal, right now is a different time.
Yes.
Post COVID, I think everybody will still need to earn their money and make sure that their company gets a higher market share. So I
Sure.
don't see necessarily that continuing after when the new normal happens. You'll go back to wanting to sell your product more and get a higher market share. But
Absolutely.
this is a current situation. The Lifebuoy is probably for now.
Interesting. So, Sandeep, would you like to get Viraj on screen?
Yeah, let's.
So,
Viraj,
Sanjay, what,
if
Sanjay, what we do
position.
is we get one person who has asked an interesting question to come on screen and probably have a direct one-on-one with you for a short period of time. So, since this question was asked by Viraj, and this was, I think, a pertinent question for a lot of existing old brands, how they look and how they come across to the audiences is very important today, so that their market share continues as we recover from the post-COVID.
Sure.
So Viraj, are you in a position to come live so that I can send an invite?
Yes, Viraj, you can respond on the chat box here.
You can just respond by saying yes or no.
Sandeep, you want to just send the invite to him and we can give it a try?
Yeah, sure.
So we're hearing some really interesting inputs from Sanjay today, and I think he's really covered the entire gamut of brand building, brand sustenance, brand repositioning, and of course, entering the market as a new brand as well. If this was the right time, and how do you go about it? And I guess one strong messaging which I'm getting from him is I don't think it's about how much you invest into brand building in the present circumstances. It is more of sustaining and being out there and being visible as a brand to your consumers and probably attracting a new consumer base based on the kind of value and the messaging that you're putting out there. So Sanjay, yeah, I want your thoughts on that in terms of how much should one spend on this brand building activity presently?
Okay, so that was actually interestingly the part that I had not covered. So I think it's a good cue for me. So
Yes.
that there is again some thoughts here that there's an interesting line again that when times are good, you should advertise,
Right.
and when times are bad, you must advertise.
Yes.
It seems a little paradoxical that when you're saying that times are bad, you must advertise. Now, where is the theory coming from, right? One, so it says that you don't cut your marketing spend, and there is a data which shares that market share in percentage terms 2 years after recovery. Okay, these are based on older previous crisis periods.
Okay.
2 years after recovery, what was the market share? Now, the brands that cut their marketing spends, their market share went down to 60% of what they started out with.
Right.
The brands that maintained whatever marketing spend they were doing, their market share was 2.5x from where they were. And the brands that increased marketing spends in the crisis period went to 3.5x of market share from where they were. Now, what's the logic? I mean, simple logic is that there is a much lesser noise level. So if you think
Yes.
contrarian to the market, you're probably the only brand visible. I mean, I'm not saying to do it right now, and like I was saying, you don't go out and
Yes.
sell at this point. But when we are in the recovery phase, is when you might want to restart. And even now, if your brand is, let's say, in the essential services, or doing something different and special, like you're a DMart and delivering product to homes, it's nothing wrong in doing a little brand build positioning also, because you're doing good job. And if that helps you to come out of the recovery looking even better, that
Right.
look, this is the brand. I mean, I've seen messages in our own community, in our society and everything, that says that, look, I used to always order on Amazon, but now my nearby Kirana has actually helped me in this crisis.
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
going to continue to give my business to them, right?
Yeah.
So it's like the goodwill is being built in this period. Now, there's nothing wrong in sort of little bit of brand talk happening, but that's the point, that if you continue to invest in times that are tough, you get cheaper ads. Right now,
Yes.
the ads definitely are cheaper, because especially when you see digital, it's a bidding rate and the bids are smaller, so you get more bang for your money. The second thing is, building brand equity remains critical even when times are tough, because long-term brand building will help you support when your recovery happens. That's what happens. I mean, if you go out of sight, out of mind,
Yes.
taking a risk that you need to sort of start from a lower level to bring it back to where you were.
Correct.
The other thing, of course, we said is that you abandon normal planning cycles are linear, because you stay from year to year, year to year. You're now in an evolving situation. You might go zigzag, because you're going to respond to what changes are happening. So whether it's in terms of advertising, or some marketing spends, it's a real time planning. Being present and updated on what changes are happening, and getting new perspectives and responding to the new perspectives. So these are all connected again to how do you plan your marketing spends, and whether you spend or not spend and all.
Absolutely. So Sandeep, you want to take the poll question?
Yeah, let's take it quickly. I think Sanjay, we've already taken your 1 hour of your time. Just quickly, your thoughts on the poll. Sanjay, can you see a tab below your screen? It's called polls.
Yeah.
So we had asked the audience a question, and they have kind of voted, and it kind of resonates with the kind of detailed answer that you gave, reply that you gave, in terms of, we shouldn't stop communicating, but yes, there has to be a sensitivity element that needs
Yeah.
to come in, goodwill element come in. So I
Yeah.
think audience is on the same
No,
lines, and they have
No,
93%.
I'm really impressed with the maturity of the audience because I think I would have felt. I mean, there was zero votes for the stop all communication bit,
Yes,
which is surprising. I would have felt that maybe a few people might have thought that. So I think it's perfect. The response given by the audience is, I think, bang on. Communicate with sensitivity, at least at this point, is the perfect thing. I'm glad the audience is thinking, matches my thinking as well.
absolutely. Absolutely. Great. So, Sanjay, do you have any final thoughts that you want to leave our audiences with as we are coping with this kind of situation and hoping to get out in a however the new normal would be for all of us?
Yeah, I know. I mean, just I would say, like, I mean, I've covered the subject. I think as much as we had time for an hour, but I see that there are good 40 odd people, and so I'm just using the opportunity to tell everybody to stay safe. And I think there will be, like I said, I mean, there will be an after. This too shall pass. What will come out will be something different, but there is a lot of faith in the human mind and innovation that we all are capable of. So we will come out, even though right now it looks very hazy that what will be that end game. But I'm sure there are a lot of smart people working on a lot of solutions around the world. So sooner rather than later, we should be out, and hopefully the new normal resumes, and we'll be back doing our things. So stay safe, everybody, and it was my pleasure to be here today.
Thank you so much, Sanjay. Thank you so much. Sandeep, would you like to conclude the session?
Yeah, I think honestly, there's nothing to conclude. It was kind of a masterclass that Sanjay gave. So Sanjay, thank you so much. We really appreciate your time and effort that you took. And honestly, I mean, nothing to conclude. It's just very simple. Be sensitive. Don't stop communicating. Keep the communication flow going. Build a goodwill element right now, because this is the right time to do that. And more or less, I mean, I felt really positive because Sanjay kept reminding us every now and then that there is an after.
Yes.
So hang on. So there will be a positive that will come out of this whole situation. So just hang on and be hopeful. So yeah, thank you, Sanjay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It was an amazing.
Thank you so much for your time, Sanjay. It didn't feel like we were all away from each other, or social distancing was, though we were maintaining social distancing, luckily it just felt like we were hanging out probably in one of our places and having this very passionate talk about brand building. So thank you for your time.
Also, it's a great series that you're running, and I think the setup is also very interesting, very nice. So
Thank
it
you.
works very well.
Thank you so much. Thank you, audiences. You can catch our next session on the coming Friday, and we'll be back with another interesting session, another expert on board. For more details, please log on to www.insiderseries.biz, and you can catch us on all our social media handles and platforms. Thank you once again for all of you for taking out your time. Thank you.